Hi there, everyone. My name is Christian Eschbach. Welcome to another one of my album reviews, and this is going to be a fun one. All right. Wayne's World, The Basement Tapes. Now, we all remember how huge Wayne's World was when it busted out on the scene. First movie was in what, 92, I believe? Feeling kind of old right now. So we're looking at the 30th anniversary, basically, right? Or was it 9 or was it 2000? Anyways, that's not the point. That was when the movie busted out and was huge, all right? And then you got the whole career of Wayne's World before that and how popular it was there. And, we all know how huge it is and how everybody, even to this day, still says they'd love to see another Wayne's World movie. I'm not sure if I'm entirely part of that list. Could be interesting if it was done right. But that being said, you had the soundtrack. Soundtracks are huge. Soundtrack was popular. I think the Wayne's World soundtrack was one of those huge selling ones. Had a lot of great songs on it. Wonderful album. Okay. But me, I gotta be a little different. Everybody had that one, so I'm out buying albums, and I come across this CD, and I'm like, Wayne's World, The Basement Tapes. First off, I love how they got the little pegboard going on there. That's great. That looks wonderful that way. It's on the back too, so it looks like it belongs in the shop or whatever. And this is basically like a dad album, okay? Or what I would have considered a dad album at the time, because all the songs are a good chunk of the songs on here. Honestly, at the time, were all showing up in beer commercials. I kid you not, man. The '90s beer commercials were great for music. Picked some of the best songs. So, so this album is made up of some of the best, just kind of either like American one-hit wonders, but they're not necessarily one-hit wonders. They just were in the U.S. or stuff like that. It's just a great compilation album, and that's all it is kind of a compilation album. It's a soundtrack album without being a soundtrack album. Every time I have had to re-burn it into my computer, various computers over the years, no computer has properly known how to define this album. That's how weird it is. Now, this was released as a compilation through Attic Records. This was released in '93, so this would have been in time for the second movie. So we're definitely hitting that peak in the popularity, going over that. I picked this album up. First off, I'm just going to read the tracks off on this, okay? This is going to kind of be a weird review, I think, this way. Mountain. Mississippi Queen. I mean, Mississippi Queen. You know what I mean? Yeah, great song. Mississippi Queen. She taught me everything. And there was a certain heaviness to this song that you just didn't hear often, especially for a song that was from when it was, After that, we got Thin Lizzy, The Boys Are Back in Town. Now, I like Thin Lizzy. I actually really enjoy Thin Lizzy. And I really should get around to covering some Thin Lizzy, which means I should really get around to buying some non-greatest hits Thin Lizzy. And The Boys Are Back in Town really, I don't understand why of all Thin Lizzy's songs, that's the one that really broke out. I don't get it. They had other ones that were so much cooler and so much better. But it's got some great pop hooks and some great pop riffs, I guess. So it's a cool tune. But on this compilation, it was one of the ones that I'm least into. Even back then, I was least into. Next, we get into Free All Right Now. So we're talking about All Right Now, baby. It's all right now. Go. Great tune. Awesome tune. I absolutely love this tune. Great song. One of those songs, I can't believe it hasn't been covered more over the years. I mean, it's just one of those really, really good tunes, man. It's just great. After that, we get into Canadian artist Extraordinaire. Okay, I say that a little bit with a joke. Sorry, my apologies. And arguably, definitely, a one-hit wonder At least in the US. In Canada, we definitely had a second song. But this one is the big one. I am a wild party. Wild, wild party. Great tune. Fun, fun tune. After that, we get into Bachmann Turner Overdrive. And I am surprised it is not taking care of business. I'm very surprised. Only because of the way that this has gone already so far. Bachmann Turner Overdrive, we get Ain't Seen Nothing Yet. You ain't seen nothing yet. Baby, you just ain't seen nothing yet. Now, I'm not a Bachmann Turner Overdrive fan, which, as a Canadian, some people might, ooh. I've heard some songs from them. They're one of those bands. My dad had a greatest hits album, and let me tell you, Ain't Seen Nothing Yet and Taking Care of Business, okay, that's pretty much it. Right? After that, I know there's other people who are going to argue and disagree with me out there, but that's that. After that, we get into Nazareth. Once again, surprised at what song they pick here. They go with This Flight Tonight, which is a really cool choice. I love Nazareth. I don't have individual albums. I really should get some because I got this great double disc greatest hits album. Absolutely wonderful. It's like this great career spanning double disc. And This Flight Tonight's obviously on there. It's always been on every greatest hits album that they've released. And it's a great song. I understand why. Nazareth is one of those bands that is truly underappreciated. I'm going to say it's definitely because of the dude's vocals. But this song, man, to hear it on here, it was a great inclusion because I love Hair of the Dog, okay? Who doesn't love Hair of the Dog? Now you're messing with her. I've talked about Hair of the Dog, at least the Guns N' Roses version in the Spaghetti Incident review. So if you want, go look for the Spaghetti Incident review. But This Flight Tonight is just really cool tune, and hear it put on here is fantastic. Once again, though, Nazareth, brilliant band with other fantastic songs that I really should get into covering. All right, after that, we get into Ram Jam, Black Betty. Now, I've heard a lot of people say they don't like this song, but can never give me a good reason why. I personally love this song. Always have, man. Whoa, Black Betty, ram-a-lam, oh, Black Betty, ram-a-lam, Black Betty had a child, ram-a-lam, the whole thing gone wild, ram. Now, I guess it would definitely be a racist song, being that, you're calling someone Black Betty. But with a name like Betty, I mean, I can see there being a Black Betty and a White Betty. I can see that. I mean, I know it sounds definitely racist. And because of that, the lyrics don't really age well on this song. But musically, it's fantastic, man. That pace on it, the way the lyrics are done, stuff like that. I mean, maybe change it from Black Betty to a different name, any other name, Blue Barbara. Whoa, Blue Barbara, bam, bam, oh, Blue Barbara, bam, bam. Blue Barbara had a child, bam, bam, there's chick got wild, bam, bam. Things you could do. Great tune, though. Fantastic tune. I absolutely love it. Musically, if not lyrically. All right, after that, we get into Golden Earring, Radar Love. Believe it or not, that was actually the main reason I bought this album. Golden Earring, yet another band my dad had a greatest hits from. Golden Earring really kind of had two songs. They had Radar Love and When the Bullet Hits the Bone. Or maybe it's called Twilight Zone. I can never remember. I always call it When the Bullet Hits the Bone. All right, so anyways. Radar Love, though. Another song, I mentioned this a lot, that I like to karaoke, and I have a lot of songs I like to karaoke. Radar Love, actually, I used to karaoke my nephew when he was a baby. It was one of the few songs I could get him to actually quiet down when I did this one. I could sing this one, turn it on karaoke, and sing along with it. He was mellow, and he kind of got dig and fun out of it. It was kind of great. I love Radar. Love the whole way along. I've always loved it. I love that it's just this great slow groove song. I love the lyrics to it, man. Just that whole spiritual connection, that radar love, that finding each other after being away from each other for so long. Fantastic song. And I will say that Radar Love. Oh, and as a drummer, that midsection, of course, totally plays to me. Uh, Wonderful, amazing song. And I know a lot of people are gonna say that it's overhyped. I don't think Radar Love really is overhyped. I think it is an underutilized song. It really is, man. Like it is one of the perfect cruising songs too. It really is. Now that is followed up by another song where it led to me picking up to this album because I didn't need another version of it from anywhere else, and that is Meatloaf, "Paradise by the Dashboard Lights." I've listened to the Bat Out of Hell album. Yes, the Bat Out of the Hell album is a good album. Okay, one day I might even get around to doing a review out of it, but realistically speaking, Paradise by the Dashboard Lights is really that album. And at 8 minutes and 28 seconds, it's really kind of a good chunk of that album, too. I love Paradise by the Dashboard Lights, though. It's one of those songs where it's fantastic. I've always wanted to do it with someone live, either karaoke or whatnot, but I have to find someone that can work with my voice because I can't sing this song like Meatloaf, so I've got to kind of change my range a little bit, which means the female that I'd be singing with would have to be able to work with that a little bit as well. I mean, obviously they can work within their own, but I've never found a woman that I've actually or I found one woman ever that did this song I wanted to do it with, but she only ever went to the karaoke place once. So I never got the chance to ask her to do it later. She just had this great, wonderful, perfect voice. After that, we got Blue Oyster Cult, "Don't Fear the Reaper." Now, I have covered Blue Oyster Cult already, and I dig Blue Oyster Cult. "Don't Fear the Reaper." I understand why it's such a huge hit for them. Why it's one of the two songs always associated to them. And I get it. It is a brilliant song with so much depth to it, but they've got so many other tracks, folks. But this one is the one that is the most beautiful and emotional and sexy and dark and mysterious and everything at the same time. And really that yeah, oh come on, man. And it just explodes. It goes nuts. Oh, brilliant song. Okay, after that, things go from, because we had it pretty serious there. We had a really serious block. Gold Earring, Radar Love, 6 minutes, 24 seconds. Meatloaf, Paradise by the Dashboard Lights, 8 minutes, 28 seconds. Blue Oyster Cult, Don't Fear the Reaper, 5 minutes and 5 seconds. That's a serious, serious chunk of change. So let's lighten up the mood now. Trooper, raise a little hell, raise a little hell, raise a little hell, hell, hell. Now, what I find interesting about this track is nowadays I associate it with saltine crackers going into soup. Yeah, that's right. The song got purchased and was used in a commercial for saltine crackers. And it was considered raising a little hell. It was brilliant. I loved it. Good song. I don't know if it's a song I would recommend. It's a good pop kind of song, It really is. And that's on this album. A lot of this album is some good rock. I mean rock, There's not a lot of pop. The Kim Mitchell I Am a Wild Party is definitely some pop. But and Boys Are Back in Town is a little popish as well. But Raise a Little Hell is the first kind of really pop kind of tune that's on here. You know, it's universally safe. Everybody can enjoy it. You know, like it's a very non-threatening pop kind of song. Then we got Teenage Head, Let's Shake. Only song on this album I really don't listen to or really don't have much to do with. All right. Track 13. This track has saved my ass on so many occasions DJing. Because I've done one wedding, I've done a couple other special events, stuff like that. And you can always tell when the mood's kind of just, it needs something to pick it back up. Now, there are 3 variations of this song that I'm aware of. I grew up with the Kylie Minogue version. That was what was released when I was a kid. So that was the first one I knew, and it was a super pop version. You're like, what's up? And right away, if you know music from the 80s, you should know what song I'm talking about, because it was like Kylie Minogue's only hit or biggest hit in the 80s. The only one I remember being specifically her. But this is the Grand Funk Railroad version, and I'm talking the Locomotion. That's right. Come on and do the locomotion with me. You gotta swing your hips. Now everybody, they're so used to the pop, the two, because this was the second version. The original version was another female artist whose name's eluding me at the moment, and I'll put it up here for you guys. Really fun pop song, okay? Absolutely love it, adore it. It's a great pop tune. But this is Grand Funk Railroad doing it, and when they do it, man, all of a sudden it's got some beef to it. It's got some swagger to it. It's got some groove to it, and it sounds really awesome. Played this at a wedding, the one wedding I DJ'd, you know, everybody was kind of like, yeah, they were having fun dancing to the music and whatnot. The problem with the one wedding I ever DJ'd, and I did enjoy it, and I could have DJ'd more weddings, but this was, the couple was a goth couple. So I had to do a delicate balance of trying to appease people that were there that would have been related to that scene of their lives, along with family members that had nothing to do with that. And that meant finding covers of a lot of songs, a lot of older songs. So the older people would be cool, the younger people would be cool, and everybody's in the middle. And having a song like this, which I also later used at other venues for the same reason, really kind of gets it going, because the older people really love having a rock version of it as well, because it's got a little more groove to it, but it's unoffensive, it's unobtrusive, but it's, you know, really got some groove. So this is also the song that introduced me to Grand Funk Railroad. I actually, outside of We're an American Band, okay, this was the only other song from them I knew, and got me into them to the point where I at least bought the greatest hits and went from there. And the album finishes with a Chuck Berry classic, My Ding-a-Ling. And it doesn't say on here that it's live, but it really sounds like it's live. It could be just the production, I'm not sure. And we're talking, you know, my ding-a-ling, my ding-a-ling, I want you to play with my ding-a-ling-a-ling. Okay, yeah, we're talking that legendary classic. That's what finishes out this album. And the idea, obviously, is this is supposed to be like a mixtape. And this is a great mixtape. It's a dad album. It's a dad mixtape, and it's fantastic. I could absolutely see Tracy's dad even, you know, having some type of various cassette of this back in the day kind of thing. You know, these are the type of songs he would do, I would think. My dad would have had a lot of these as well on a mixtape. Fantastic album. If you ever run across this on CD and you find it for a decent price, or if you can find it on vinyl, oh my God. I don't know if there was ever a vinyl version of it released, okay? If you can find a vinyl version, oh my God, that'd be great. But the CD version is fantastic. You know, it's really great mix. I really like it. I really enjoy it. And to this day, I had bought this album. Okay, this was 93. So I probably bought this in 94. I want to say. Maybe 95 at the absolute latest. And it was because I stumbled across it. This was a store find. This wasn't even like a CD or record company buy. This was a store find. And I I've enjoyed it ever since I bought it. You know, it's honestly one of those great go-to albums. And if I'm actually packing CDs to take with me on a trip, there's a good chance I usually will slip this one in there a lot of the time. Anyways, folks, those are my thoughts. Those are my opinion. Let me know what your thoughts and opinions are. Comment section below. That's what that's for. Otherwise, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Those both help me out. They'll help you guys out in the long run. Really, it's really useful. I gotta beg you, please hit those two buttons. There's a Patreon link below if you want to throw some money my way. Otherwise, peace, love, take care.